Well, hi and welcome to the How to Build a Profitable and Sustainable Weight Loss Business in a Competitive Market. Hi, my name is Eric Simpson. I'm a consultant and a coach to fitness professionals who want to get into this area and specialize. I also run my own private weight loss studio as well, but more about me later. Now, it's been my experience over a decade now or more that the number one thing that people come to fitness professionals for, whether that's coming to you as a freelancer, you going to their homes or you working in a gym or a studio, the number one thing that people ask for is weight loss. It's hands down. And most people call it weight loss, by the way, and not fat loss. And it's weird because we're now living in a time where there's more people overweight than ever before, yet fitness professionals, personal trainers are struggling like crazy to be able to make a living out of a market, helping people who've got a genuine problem and want to solve it. And I'm going to share with you in this presentation my experiences of how I have built a profitable and sustainable business in this marketplace. And it hasn't always been pretty, to be honest with you, and I'll share some of the stuff with you as we go through. And I'm just hoping that once you've heard this presentation, it might just give you a little bit of hope and a bit of realization that you too can build something pretty significant. So let's first of all kick off with who this presentation is actually for, so we don't waste your time. So let me just move this slide down to the next one. So who's it for? It's for you if you want to specialize in weight loss. Now, it amazes me, again, I've said the market is bigger than ever, yet for some reason personal trainers want to shy away from what is the most obvious market to work with. And I get it sometimes. Some people just don't have that sort of patience to want to work with people who have got a weight loss issue, because you do need a lot of patience, and it has to come naturally, that patience as well. It can't be forced patience. It's for people who want to actually coach people, sit down and actually coach. And that image on the top right is me with a client. I'll be honest, it's a stage managed photograph that for a photo shoot we were doing. But that's what I'm talking about, is actually sitting down with people and coaching them and working face to face with them as well. Yes, there's an opportunity to go online later if you want to, but I think you can really hone your skills and get really good at what you do by working face to face. And finally, if you're a coachable individual, this is going to be good for you. So who is it not for? Well, it's not for you if you are a generalist looking to do everything under the sun in terms of personal training. So you want to work with strength and conditioning, you want to work with a particular sport, you want to offer boot camps, you want to do body alignment stuff. So if you want to do all of those things, that's fine, but I don't think this is going to be the best presentation for you. Anyone that's seeking a magic bullet, this is not about a magic bullet. I'm going to be sharing no magic bullets here. If you live in the real world, you'll understand that building any sort of a business takes a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of testing, trialing, failing, thinking about giving up. All those emotions are going to come to pass. So this isn't, a magic bullet thing. And finally, don't want to coach with training. So your main focus is on getting a client into your facility or going to see them, giving them some dietary advice and getting them training. And that's all perfectly fine, because when I started out in this profession, all I really did was, was give people some dietary advice, and any sort of coaching was done as part of the training session. I didn't have a specialist coaching program that sat alongside my training, and now it's actually fully integrated as well. So if any of that's you, then probably best to sort of hit the back button now and not waste your time. So let's talk about what I'll be sharing during this presentation. I'm going to give you a general background, and that general background is going to be me pretty much substantiating why I'm able to give this presentation, and that's going to include a bit about my background as well, because I'm sure certainly I want to know the background of people that I'm listening to. So I'm going to share some of my background, but also substantiate that title about how to build a profitable and sustainable business in a competitive, weight loss market. I'm going to give you some actual figures so you can see for yourself. I'll then talk about how to specialize, how to sell without feeling salesy, because nobody wants to sell to anybody, but everybody wants to buy. And I certainly don't like the idea of trying to sell to clients. I'd rather have a consultative approach and have them buy if they think it's a good fit for them. How to market to your strengths, how to maximize your client results, and how to maintain growth as you go through. So that's what I'm going to be covering during this presentation. So let's kick off with me, first of all, substantiating that title of how to build a profitable and sustainable business in a competitive weight loss market. So here's a client of mine. Her name's Marie. Marie's 50 at the time of this recording. The period of time she spent with me up until this point was 12 months. It's going to go beyond 12 months. Her average monthly fee is $295. That's her average monthly fee that she's spent to date. Okay, so that's Marie. Let's tiptoe on. This is Katie. Duration 60 months. Average monthly fee, again for Katie, it's $295, and that's over a 60-month period. And we move down to, get my little clicker working here, to Stella, 84 months, which is about 6-7 years or something, maybe a bit longer than that. Average monthly fee, $168. So 3 clients there who have all invested a good amount of money. Now, and they've all had some great results. Let's just combine all those 3 people together now. And if you can hear some crying in the background, I apologise for that. I've got somebody just crying in the background, a little baby or something. I'm sat in my conservatory doing this recording. I've just heard this crying, so apologies if you can hear that. So let's just take a look at those 3 clients, and they're just 3 I've picked. I could have picked, a lot more clients. So the average time they've spent with me combined is 4.33 years. The average monthly income between the 3 of them is 646, and their average annual income spend with me is £7,752. Timesing that figure, 7,752 by 4.33 years, comes in at £33,566.16. So that's just 3 clients over a 4-year period. Obviously, I've had many more clients than that, but that just gives you an idea about how you can make your business more sustainable than what it possibly currently is. And I'm going to explain exactly how you can do that. My average annual revenue over the last 5 years is £58,000. Not massive money, so I'm not talking about 6 figures here. Sometimes it's been a bit less than that, sometimes it's been more than that. Have I ever hit 6 figures? No, I haven't. But what I would just say is my working week now is only part-time. So I'm not working like a full-time week. I'm not working 7 days a week. I generally work about 3 to 4 days a week. That's my normal working week. Now, you need to also understand this about me. When I got into this business, I needed and wanted a business that was going to be profitable and was going to be sustainable. And I'll give you one of the big reasons for that now. And it was to do with my son. My son, there you can see on the far left, that's him aged around about 4. He took up tennis. I'm a tennis player. I'm still a tennis player. He got a liking for tennis. And at the time I was in the military, and I decided that leaving the military, if I was going to help him to develop as a tennis player, I wanted to be there to actually be part of the whole process, being a decent player myself and being a coach. So I needed a job that, say, was going to be profitable and sustainable, to give me a monthly predictable income, so I wasn't stressed about, basically day-to-day stuff. And the good news is I was able to coach him for a 6-year period where at the age of 12 he won the Wiltshire County Championships, the under 12 age category, and at the age of 12 he also won the under 14 category as well, and that's him on the right hand side in a back garden with his medal haul for that particular year. And he managed to get himself up to a pretty high national ranking, sitting just outside the top 32 when he sort of stopped his tennis and took up more football. But again, for me, it was a fantastic time, and I was really pleased to be part of that. So, and I'll give you some more of my background as we go through. But I just thought I'd share that with you because you'll have your own reasons as to why you want to be profitable and why you want to have a business that's sustainable. I just thought I'd share that with you. So let's tiptoe on. Let's just, still background stuff now. Let's just talk about the health of the nation very, very quickly. Yes, it's in the public media all the time, the state of the country in terms of obesity. You just got to walk down the high street and you'll see people who are overweight that need our services. And this slide, I've just really picked on one particular stat that says 26% of adults are classified as obese. That's 26%. But there's a lot more people classified as being overweight. So we are in a marketplace where there's a demand. Unfortunately, it's a sad case, it's just the way it is, but there is a demand for what we offer as personal trainers and fitness professionals. It's just the way it is. Now, I'm going to share with you a slide that I use when I get a client in front of me for a consultation. I'll explain why I share it. I'll just show them this and say, look, start, stop, repeat, start, stop, repeat, starting, stopping, repeating. Does this sound familiar to you? Because most people that I work with, I'd say 90% of people that I work with have tried a multitude of different things in the past to try and lose weight. And I show them this slide just so that they know that I know what they've gone through and that I'm not sat there thinking they've got no experience, because the clients I work with and the clients I'm sure you work with are intelligent people, know a bit about diet and healthy eating. So it's not through lack of knowledge why they're overweight. It's just often, in my experience, a lack of understanding how to combine their mindset with their eating and their exercise. So let's just take a look at some of the characteristics of people who are going to be potential clients of yours before we get into the meat of this presentation. And it's important you understand this, because understanding this is going to help you to better present yourself to people who are looking for weight loss, and how you go about putting together your programs and you do your marketing. So here's some of the characteristics. People that come to you are going to be highly, highly, highly skeptical about whatever it is you've got to offer to them. Why? Because they've tried so many things before, they've read so many things. They're going to feel worn down by all the stuff that's out there, worn down by the multiple attempts they've made and the failures they've had. They're also going to be very discerning about what they think about spending their money on. You know, these are not silly people. These are intelligent people who they can sniff out a quick fix, although they do succumb to those things. As I say, that they are very skeptical, they're worn down through their multiple attempts, but they have become more discerning and are less likely to spend with their money or part with their money unless they really, really think what you've got is going to help them. And here's the key thing. They want to invest in the right thing. It's not like they don't want to invest. They just want to make sure they invest in the right thing. So what are some of the options that these people are faced with? Well, as I said earlier on, more than ever before, there are so many options out there for people now. Now, whether you like these options or not, these are the options that are out there for people, and people are regularly going to these types of things to try and help with their weight loss issues. Now, for some people, this slide might look a little bit daunting, and you may think, well, crumbs, how am I going to compete with some of those big giants and those more established methods that people turn towards for weight loss? Well, it's possible. You can. I say I'm going to show you exactly how you can do that as we go through. But I want to take a look now at the health of the fitness professional market, because we are also in a marketplace. Since when I qualified back in early 2000, I think on average, a stat that I read somewhere was something like there's about 5,000 to 10,000 PTs coming into the market every year. So if you multiply that by 10, that's what? Another 50,000 to 100,000 PTs that have entered into the marketplace since when I began, and probably more than that actually, now that you can do it online as well. But here is the state of our marketplace, and it's not a pretty sight, unfortunately. On the left there, I've put a table, the top 20 reasons why startups fail. And there's a whole list of things on there that you can read through, hopefully. And one that I would pick out is poor marketing. Because the top one says no market need. Well, we've already established there's a need for what we offer. But poor marketing skills, an inability to put together a cohesive plan, a program that people actually want to invest in. And the figure there on the right hand side, 80% fail within 24 months of qualifying. And that's not because they're poor at their job. It's not because they don't understand training or nutrition. It's just that they struggle to bring it all together and take something into the marketplace and market it effectively and get people paying you what you're actually worth. And again, I'm going to share with you how I've done that myself, and hopefully you can learn from that. So let's take a look at some of the characteristics now of fitness trainers. And guess what? They're very similar to a person that wants to lose weight. Skeptical about stuff. And you may well be sat there now thinking, do I believe this guy? Don't I believe this guy? And you're right to be skeptical. I would be skeptical. Absolutely 100% I'd be skeptical about anybody. But I'd be prepared to listen. Possibly feeling a bit worn down. You've possibly done multiple different things to try and build your business to a level where it is profitable and becomes more sustainable. You too, I'm sure, are now discerning. And I'm also sure you want to invest in the right thing if you believe it's going to move you to becoming profitable and having a sustainable business that you enjoy being in. And that's important as well. You've got to enjoy being in it. So what are the options for personal trainers to help develop their businesses? Well, you've got a general business coach, and I'd highly recommend a coach of some description. Now, whether that's on a professional formal arrangement or just a buddying up system, I can't overemphasize the importance of having somebody in your corner that's going to help you. Then you can have a general health and fitness business coach, who I, in my opinion, think is better than a general business coach. Why? Because they've been in our market, they've been in our sector, they understand what you're trying to take to the marketplace. And then you've got the sector specialist coach, who I think again is better than the general health and fitness business coach. Why? Because a sector specialist coach, in this example it's me, I'm weight loss, that's what I do. Maybe if you're in another sector, let's say you're in, I don't know, boot camp sector specialist coach, that's what they do. So they're going to be far better equipped to get you to where you want to get to far quicker, because that's their specialist thing. Think about it. If you had a brain tumor, would you want to go to a general kind of surgeon that does a whole range of different operations, or would you want to go to the specialist brain surgeon? Yeah, the specialist brain surgeon may cost a bit more money, but you know you're going to get the right sort of service and the right sort of treatment and the best treatment possible. And then of course you've got the DIY approach. And believe you me, I've done DIY, and I've got to tell you, not just because it sounds like it's self-serving for what I offer, it is probably the hardest, most expensive, and the one that causes most PTs to fail, because quite simply you don't know what you don't know. It's not a question you don't know the answers to the questions. If you're like me, when I started out, I didn't even know what the questions were, never mind what the answers were to the questions. So that's really a bit about the market and the background to the market. I just want to very, very quickly give you a bit of my background before we sort of really delve into the meat of this training I'm offering, so you understand where I'm coming from. So my background, let's just tiptoe on. Qualifications and training, ex-Army physical training core instructor. I've got a degree in sports rehab, certificate in adult education, blah, 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 blah. So there's a whole list of qualifications there. And me and my clients have been featured in a whole variety of different media. And top right there, that's a picture of me coming towards the end of my career with my son, who you saw earlier, Alexander. And that was me about to deploy on operational duty to Kosovo. So that's kind of my academic sort of media sort of background, as it were. In terms of what I do, you know, people I've worked with, I think it's just, yeah, there we go. So here you can see me giving a presentation, top left. You know, I give talks regularly. I'll talk more about that later. Bottom right, I'm coaching. Sorry, bottom right, just below the me talking on the right hand side, it's me chatting with a lady. Again, that is a stage picture, but that's me coaching. On the right hand side, you can see an A-frame of mine out on the side of the street there, where I put my A-frame out on a daily basis. And then you've got some charitable things I've done, raising money for an event called Wear Your Wedding Dress Again event, Race for Life. I'm sure you're familiar with that as well. What else have I got to show you? Again, that's me outside of DSTL, top left, Occupational Health Department, where I did some coaching for clients and weight loss coaching. The event I spoke to you about, the Wear Your Wedding Dress Again event, that's me outside the White Hart Hotel with, we've got about, I don't know, 15, 16 brides there that we got back into the wedding dress, and there's a check on the right. Bottom left, that's a client event where I invited clients along to, you know, have a drink and a sandwich, just to sort of say thank you to them for being clients, and that's them, their clients, and with their partners. And on the right hand side, that's me at a networking event where I was a guest speaker. And finally, here's a picture of my gym, and as you can see, it's pretty basic. On the left hand side, you've got a load of before and after pictures of clients who I've worked with. I used to have a whole wall full of these things, but I decided I'd go for big A3s and make more of an impact, rather than trying to have like 20, 30 pictures on the wall that people often didn't stop and look at anyway. They just sort of waltzed past them. There's a little table at my reception area. That's the gym area with the rower. Bottom left, I've got a separate room where I do my coaching. And on the right hand side there, you can see a few weights, and you've got a little handle there dangling. I've got a cable machine as well. And I think what's important to understand is this. There's a bit of a myth that you need really, really expensive equipment and a really plush and swanky facility. You really don't. Clients don't really, as long as it's clean and the equipment's serviceable. In the weight loss sector, people want a solution. They don't care whether it's a pre-core machine, a techno gym machine, or any other machine that you can think of out there. They really are interested in, can you help me to get a result? You know, I've got this problem, how are you going to help me to resolve it? And then the equipment and that sort of stuff is really secondary to that. So before we get into the presentation, you may be wondering, okay, Eric, you've given me a lot of spiel here. You know, why am I doing this? What's in this for Eric Simpson? Well, there are three things. Number one, I love teaching. Teaching and coaching is something I'm really passionate about. I've done it for over 30 years now. I did it in the military for almost 4 years, and I've done it since I've left the military. And I really get a buzz out of it. It's enjoyable. Secondly, I now offer consultancy and coaching. So I get paid by people to actually work with them to help them develop their weight loss programs, whether that's individuals or companies. And thirdly, and this one is probably more pertinent to you and more important to you, and that is, look, outside there are some fantastic companies that genuinely do help PTs to develop their businesses, some absolutely amazing companies, but there's also some really bad ones out there and some downright ugly ones as well that have never been a PT, have never got any results with clients, have never built anything of any significance. They've maybe listened to a few courses and decided that they're going to become coaches or consultants, but haven't really got the background or the skills to be able to actually offer any real significant help. So again, this is my, I suppose, giving back really to our sector, something that I think could help you. So that's why I'm doing it. And I'll speak to you at the end of this presentation about how you may want to do some work with me if you can endure this that long. And before we get into the presentation itself then, let me just quickly remind you what we're going to be covering. So the title, you know, how to specialise, how to sell without feeling salesy, how to market your strengths, how to maximise, and how to maintain growth once you've started. Now you may be thinking, okay, Eric, this all sounds great. Where have you got your knowledge from, by the way, just before we get into this? And I'm going to share that with you now, where I've got my knowledge from. Quickly going around this presentation. Top left, Jeff Ram. He and I spoke at a national event. I spoke about networking, how to create a networking group for you in your area. I've created one in the health and wellbeing sector in Salisbury for me, co-founder to that. And Jeff spoke about customer service. Fantastic presentation. Learned a lot there. Right of him, Dr. Marilyn Glanville, nutritionist, who's spoken in Salisbury on a few occasions. I've been to her events and learned some good stuff there. Hannah McNamara, top right, attended a workshop that she delivered on marketing into a niche. Moving down, Nigel Bottrell, a Yorkshireman like myself, he's written a few books, I believe that's just one of them, Botty's Rules. And that's me at his training academy up in the Midlands. Left of him, Michelle Moan, who created a business called Ultimo Bra. Again, I attended a talk that she delivered in Salisbury. Milana Lewinsky, came across her over 10 years ago now. Fantastic coach, has now set up Simplicity Circle. And on the far right, far left, so you've got the E-Myth by a chap called Michael E. Gerber. So that's some of the stuff that I've exposed myself to. So you being here today really is exposing yourself to not just my knowledge, but a combination of knowledge that I have accumulated and poured into my career, and hopefully you're going to get some benefit from that as well. So without further ado, let's get into specialism. That's the first thing. How do we actually specialize? So let's just move on to the next slide. And forgive me, this is going a little bit slow. So specialism, a person who concentrates primarily on a particular subject or activity, a person highly skilled in a specific and restricted field. So that's a definition of a specialism. So you saw my list of qualifications. When I left the forces, I left with a handful of qualifications. So I was able to do a lot of things, from personal training to Pilates, all the way down to massage and other things I've not even bothered to mention. But dare I say, I was pretty good at a lot of those things, and I tried to specialize in them all. And I did kind of okay. And here you can see me pictured top left, using my soccer training, coaching skills to create a course called Soccer Workout, qualified over 100 odd people in that. To the right, tennis workout. I presented at the a national event for the British Tennis Coaches Association. I don't know if it's still called that now. And there's me doing some Pilates bottom left. But basically what I was a jack of all trades and a master of none. And to be honest with you, it got to the point where it was becoming difficult mentally, emotionally, to try and juggle all these different balls in the air. Whilst I was getting paid okay, it was a real challenge trying to do all of that. So I decided to go for a sector that allowed me to use all of my skills, my coaching skills, my presentation skills, and the things I like doing generally. And I decided that the thing that offered me the best opportunity for that was to specialize in the weight loss market. Now, it wasn't just a case of specializing in the weight loss market and saying, right, that's it, I'm going to work in weight loss. I had to work out, well, who was I going to work with? Was it going to be men? Was it going to be women? What age were they going to be? So I had to be quite specific and drill down on that. And here's how I drilled down on it. I decided, yes, it was going to be weight loss. It was going to be working with females. It was going to be working with females age 40 to 65. Now, you may be wondering why that age range. Well, I believe women have got two great windows of opportunity to get really fit. And then get fit at any time, by the way. But from the age of 16 to 24, or from the age of 40, maybe 44 to 65 plus. Now, why those two categories? Well, 16 to 24, normally you're not married, haven't got kids, although you could have, but generally you might not have. So it's a great time to be able to focus on yourself. So good market to work with because they've got the time. 40 to 65 plus, normally had children, kids are a bit more independent, and women are sometimes looking to maybe just rediscover themselves, having spent 10, 15 or more years being a mother. It's now time to maybe look at themselves a little bit more. I wanted to work with people who were business owners or managers. Why? Because they would really get this idea about coaching. Needed them to be able to control their diaries, because when I book people in, I have set slots and they need to be able to book into those slots and attend regularly. I wanted to lose between 2 and 5 stone in weight loss. Why that much weight? Or why that particular range? Well, if you want to lose like 5 or 6 pounds, most people can do that by themselves. They don't really need any coaching. But anything over a couple of stone, in my opinion, they're going to need some sort of psychological coaching to help them get down to where they want to get to. And there's just one example of a client I worked with, Sue, at 52, lost 5 stone, 1 pound, went from a size 20 down to a size 12. So that was my specialist area. Now I'm just going to share with you a little background leading up to me creating that program, which I think is quite useful to understand. So back in 1999, before it became Coach Me Slim and Trim, which is what my program's called now, my very first client that I took on, who I signed up for a block of 10, and back then I think it was about 350 quid she paid me, gave me a check. I went home to my girlfriend at the time, walked through the door, big smile on my face, somebody's paid me 350 quid. I was over the moon. Within 24 hours, I think it was 24 hours, it might have even been that night, I got a phone call to say I've changed my mind. And that really knocked me, not for six, but it really sort of jolted me. I thought, wow, she's just agreed to everything. But what it taught me was I hadn't properly qualified the lady. I'd kind of gone round there, told her what I could do, didn't really have a particularly good pre-qualification script on the phone, or any sort of a good pre-qualification or consultation script when I went to see her. It was pretty much block of 10, sign up, I'm going to get you fit, there's no refunds, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it taught me I needed to take a different approach to this, and I did, and that was really my first eye-opener. I did refund her the money, but I was determined from that point going forwards I wasn't going to make that same mistake again. So I created the pre-runner, let's call it, to Coach Me Slim and Trim. I call it the Jigsaw Weight Management Program, and that was really my first foray into creating a package. So that's some time ago. Subsequently, I went on and wrote, as part of my degree course, a 3,000-word essay on weight loss. So I really delved into weight loss, the psychology of it, what was out there, the nutritional side of it, and also the exercise part of it. And as a consequence of that, that piece of work that I did, I was able to sell my program into Oxfordshire PCT, deliver my program at DSTL at a corporate level. That was quite a nice contract, worth about 50 grand. I've delivered it at Salisbury District Hospital as an independent, not bought in by the hospital, but allowed to deliver it within the hospital. And now I deliver my program to the general population. So that's just a bit of background. So let's talk about the actual package itself and what should be included in your program. So your signature program, in my opinion, needs to have three elements to it: mindset, diet and exercise. I think we are now moving more and more towards mindset coaching of people, more so than diet and exercise. Why? Because most people you're going to work with, if you sat them down for 10 minutes with a pad and a pen, could quite comfortably write out an exercise, a dietary plan that's reasonably good, some bloody brilliant actually, and could write out some sort of exercise plan. Where they're struggling is with their mentality. So I would really highly suggest you have a mindset component, a coaching component in your program. You want to package your services up anywhere between 3, 6 and 12 months for people. 3 months for people who've got less to lose, 12 months for people who have got a lot to lose. Because look, these people are going to be coming to you. If they need to lose 2, 3 stone in weight, they already know before they get started they're going to need at least 6 to 12 months. They know that. So selling somebody a block of 10, let's say you sell them a block of 10 and they're doing 2 a week. In 5 weeks' time, you've got to sell the whole thing again. So you now break that, in my opinion, that relationship you've created with people, and you're having to break it every 5 weeks to resell them on another package. So if you've got a whole list of clients you're doing that with, can you imagine how painful that is? And especially asking a client to pay for another block of 10 if they just happen to have come in that week and gained a pound or two. They're going to be thinking, hang about a minute, why am I paying for this? So if you can get the money thing out of the way, you can focus, both of you the client, or the client can focus on where they're going, and you as a coach and trainer can focus on getting that client the best results you can get them, because you know you've got the time to actually be able to work with them and help to bring about a significant change. Pricing options between 3 to 12 months, and make sure you've got good terms and conditions that you're offering people. I see too many trainers out there all wishy-washy with the terms and conditions, and people just basically running roughshod over them because they have not properly managed their clients, and the whole thing just becomes really messy. So have really good terms and conditions from the start. That way, everyone's going to be kept happy. So that's the package. That's the signature program. Let's talk about sales now. And it can sound like a dirty word, this selling, sales, but look, everybody has to sell. Whether you like it or not, you're going to have to sell what you do. But there's a way to do it that's not salesy and not all cheesy and horrible. And it starts off with you pre-qualifying the client on the phone. And sometimes it could be even face-to-face, but normally over the phone. And it kind of starts off before that, really, because once you've decided to go down this particular path of weight loss, all the materials you put out there should be pointing that person towards the fact that what you're offering is weight loss. So they're on the phone because that's what they want. They've almost qualified themselves just by picking up the phone or sending you an email. But the pre-qualification script, and I'm not going to go into a lot of detail here, but the sort of things you want to be including are, asking them the right questions. So, ask them the questions, establish, what is it they're after? What are they currently doing? What's their working week like? Get some sort of idea as to where they are. That will then naturally give you some ability to tick off in your mind whether or not you think they're going to even fit your program. Then you're going to explain what your offering is, how it works, and explain what your pricing is going to be as well, how your pricing works. And if they like what your general offering is and they think your pricing fits within their budget, at that point you can happily invite them along for a sit-down consultation face-to-face. Now, why do I suggest you do it that way? You do it that way because what you don't want are people turning up to your facility that don't know anything about your program, don't know anything about the charges, and you know very little about them. It gets really awkward, and then when you get to the price side of it, that can come as a real big surprise, and it can be one of those embarrassing moments where they're looking at you, you're looking at them, and you don't know what to do. So do this part of it, get it done. Once it's done, the next bit is the face-to-face consultation. When they come in, it's just a continuation really of the conversation you've had on the phone. You're just getting more information. Highly recommend you have some sort of visual aid to assist you with your presentation. Why? Well, coming from a teaching background, I know that some people learn through auditory, some people learn through visual, and others through kinesthetic. So if you've got them in front of you, use some sort of visual aid to lay out what your program is. And I use visual aids to lay out what a program is, how it works. And I also include some testimonials in there as well, and I'll talk more about that in a moment. But doing that increases comprehension apparently by something like 400%. So you'd be crazy not to have some sort of visual representation of what it is you're offering. So hopefully that helps you to understand how you don't need to be salesy. It really is you presenting a solution to their problem, presenting a range of options for them, and allowing them to decide whether or not they want to purchase or not. So let's now talk about how you go about marketing your services, because this really is the next step. The previous step is about understanding what to do when you get them. This is about getting them into your facility, getting them to pick up the phone. I'll just work around the screen. So top left, that's me giving a presentation. I like to do talks. That's one of the things I think is one of my strengths, doing live talks. That's me delivering the weight loss escape plan talk at a local health food shop, which I also deliver the talk from my private studio as well. I do online stuff. That's me on LinkedIn, top left. I do Facebook. I certainly have a presence there. I do videos. I do email marketing. I, put out a newsletter to my existing clients and to people who've inquired. And I also do I've set up a health and wellbeing group, a networking group, which I co-founded. And we have osteopaths there, sports therapists there, acupuncturists, dentists, and we all get together and we connect with like-minded business owners. That's one of the premises of setting up the group. We raise our profiles, the fact that I'm there as the only weight loss expert in that group. And where it's appropriate, we get referrals from each other where it's appropriate. And I had a fantastic referral from an osteopath. She worked on somebody's hip, got the hip pain, reduced the hip pain, and I got her to lose 4 stone. but between the two of us, we managed to achieve a fantastic result. And that particular client went off on her 60th birthday, went off skiing to, I think it was Chamonix, which 12 months prior to that would not have been a possibility. So those are just some of the things that I do in terms of marketing. Really simple things, nothing amazing. What I would say about marketing is it is trial and error. And, you know, as PTs, we can be suckered into sometimes this idea that we can go online and just put out a Facebook ad and we're going to get, you know, loads and loads of people inquiring. I have gone down that route before. I have had somebody do that for me. And I did get in 30, 40 inquiries within like 24 hours. But I've got to tell you, chasing these people up who were not ideal clients, trying to get them on the phone was an absolute nightmare. So yes, that can work, but you just need to understand what you're doing if you can go down that path. But I say, offline marketing is highly effective and you should not turn away from offline marketing. Use both, online and offline marketing. Both are important. If you're doing offline, you may want to be driving them online. If you're online marketing, you want to get them to offline. But that's just some of the stuff that I do myself. Let's move it on, talk about client results. I see so many trainers that get fantastic results with their clients. It's unbelievable, but don't do anything with it. So I'm going to talk about that. Guarantees. Should you offer guarantees? I certainly do offer guarantees. I don't put that on my website because I think it's a little bit cheesy. Some people might disagree with that. But most clients know and understand they're going to have to put the work in. What I will do as part of my presentation is say to them, look, I'm happy to guarantee my results. If you do the things that we agree that you should be able to do when you're not with me, I can guarantee the results. And if you don't get the results, I'll happily refund you. That's fair enough, but that's done in the context of an agreement rather than just putting out there guarantees, which people often can think, depending on what you're selling, sound a bit cheesy and a bit disingenuous as well, maybe. Social proof, massive. I've shown you a few examples earlier on. This is another client of mine, Sue. So many trainers get fantastic results, but never, ever, ever use social proof. Think about it for a second. If you've got trainer A, trainer B, you're both equally qualified, you've both been in the business for the same period of time, you've got one trainer with a load of qualifications, the other one with the same amount, but one's got before and after. Who's the client more likely to go with? More than likely with the person who's got the proof, because they want to know that, okay, they know that exercise and healthy eating works, but is your version of it, does your version of it actually work? And if you can show people who have gone through your particular process, then it makes it easier for people to make a decision. I think you'd agree with that. So get your before and afters, and you can build that into your whole client consultation. Again, if we end up working together, I'll show you how you can do that really, really easily. And then the final slide I'm going to talk about is growth. And growth in terms of personal development. I think you've got to keep growing as an individual in whichever department you feel you need to grow in, whether that's relationships with your partner, with your family, with your kids. I just think that's important, personal growth and development. Developing a business owner mindset, which is different from an employee mindset. Again, I showed you a whole lot of things that I've done in the past and continue to do. Developing your marketing skills. You know, the landscape's changing. When I started out, there wasn't Facebook. There wasn't things like LinkedIn. So, you know, keeping abreast of marketing things. But what I will tell you is this, whether it's online or offline, doesn't matter which one it is, you need to have something of value that people want. And again, just getting good at marketing, but not having something that's valuable to market is a waste of time. Sales, we've spoke about that. Adopt more of a consultative approach rather than just being, we're fantastic, come and buy from us. That type of marketing, that type of sales doesn't really work for people nowadays, or very rarely does it work. Specialist knowledge, you know, I still read books on mindset, I still read up on nutrition, and I still look at exercises, you know, how to best improve my skills. And I've put down there networking image. I mean, get out there and network with people. You know, create your networking group. You know, I showed you an image up the top there, and that's, I think, what I should have had in there where it's a red mark, networking image in here. I should have put it in from the previous. But get yourself amongst your local community of health and wellbeing practitioners. raise your profile, because those are the people that can, through word of mouth, be sending people to you. I won't say on a regular basis, but you can get business from other health practitioners. And read. One of the businesses, or one of the books I've read a lot, is The E-Myth by Michael E. Gerber. Fantastic book. Highly, highly, highly recommend it. And in a nutshell, he talks about creating a business that you could franchise. Now, you may have no aspirations to franchise at all, but if you can create a business that is replicable and it's systematized so much that you get your clients in and you can talk them through a procedure that's so easy, it will make it easy for you, it will make it easy for your clients as well to get the result they want. So before I talk about what I offer in terms of services, let me just go through a few frequently asked questions that people often ask about specializing and should they or shouldn't they do it. So the first one is, will specializing, will it limit my market? Will I only get that type of client coming in? Well, I said to you, I work primarily with females aged 40 to 65, but as you can see on this slide, I've got Andy Dolman on the left there. Andy is now, nearly 50. That's me working with, I worked with him, he lost 3 stone, and that's me at his wedding. So he's not a woman. Next to him, you've got Richard, 34, so not even in the right age demographic. He took off just over 2 stone. Again, I got an invite to his wedding. By the way, I don't always go to weddings, but it's fantastic when I get invited. And Adam, who lost 8 stone, 1 pound in just under 12 months. Adam was only 21, 22 at the time. So by virtue of the fact I was marketing to one type of audience, didn't stop other people coming to me. So don't be fooled into thinking because you specialize in one market, you won't get other people coming to you. You will. Second question on there, will people pay me monthly? Absolutely they will. They're already paying for their mortgages, they're paying for their cars and anything else monthly. So it's a natural thing for them to do. Should I offer guarantees? I spoke about that earlier. I do, but within the context of the face-to-face consultation. Why wouldn't you? If you're that confident about your service, why wouldn't you do it? And the question there, how long does it take to get clients? And that's a trainer I worked with some time ago now. I actually employed him for 4 years. His name's Kerry. I'm going to speak about him later and answer this question later as well, because it's a good question and it's going to vary from person to person, but I want to answer it in the context of what he actually did. Next frequently asked question, it's a big one, and it's why should I pay someone to teach me this stuff when I'm already qualified and experienced as a fitness professional stroke personal trainer? Well, you don't have to. I said to you earlier on, you can do the DIY, you can learn it yourself, you can go to multiple workshops, as I have done in the past, and learn yourself and do that DIY approach. But coming to someone like me who has specialized in this area, my answer would be simply system. It's going to save yourself time, effort and money. As simple as that. Your qualification gets you to the start line, and it really does, but that's all it does. Someone like me or somebody similar to me can actually help you to get over the start line far quicker than what you possibly could by yourself. Why? Because, without blowing my own trumpet, I have made a load of mistakes, but I've also done a lot of good stuff as well and had some fantastic results, which hopefully I've been able to demonstrate as part of this presentation. So it's a decision you've got to make yourself. Some lessons I've learned, 3 simple lessons. Number 1 is when you specialize, you don't need to do a hard sell because people know that's what you stand for, and you tend to get better results because people come to you with an expectation of you being the expert, and they're already telling themselves they're going to succeed with you because that's what you do. So it helps in that regard. Systematize as much of your business as you possibly can. The more systematized it is, the easier it's going to be for you to deliver, the easier it's going to be for your clients to get results. Learn, take action and measure it. Critical. Now, I've said to you that I offer consultancy and coaching. I just want to share with you some of the feedback that people have given me as a consequence of my coaching and consultancy work that I've done. So this was from the guy I mentioned earlier, Kerry. I employed Kerry for, I think it's about 4 years. So answering that question, how long will it take? Well, I got him on board with me. and he was generated £800 worth of income per week after 2 months. Now, how did he do that? He didn't do it because he was a fantastic superstar personal trainer, as he wasn't, as indeed I'm not either. He did it because I inducted him on my program, and within a relatively short space of time, he was able to convert clients at that sort of a level. Now, is everybody going to do that? Well, of course they're not. Can some people do better than that? Absolutely. And does some people not do as well as that? Absolutely as well. But that's just one example, and that's a client he was pictured with who we managed to get a great result with, again, taking her through our Coach Me Slim and Trim program. Another bit of feedback, another trainer I work with, in fact, and just going back to Carey, he now works in his own private studio. I should just mention that, and doing very well for the last time I was in touch with him. Another trainer I worked with or employed, Luann, she was generating £330 per week after 5 months. So it took her a bit longer. She wasn't at it full time. But what she did say was it gave her a lot more confidence. She actually left the industry and went into a different sector for different reasons. Not because she wasn't successful, but for different personal reasons. But it just gives you an example of what can be done. A bit more feedback. This was from a chap that came to one of my workshops, Jamie Aspin. As a PT with over 15 years experience, to come here and see everything laid out as a package is brilliant. If you don't do this, I guarantee you'll spend years trying to figure this stuff out. He goes on to say, why do you think clients come to us, as in personal trainers? It's because they can't figure this stuff out. This is no different. And Jamie still runs his business now for PTs. Yvette Navrakala, hopefully I'm pronouncing your last name correctly, Yvette, business coach. Her and I presented at a business boot camp, and she said, Eric is very experienced, knowledgeable, and puts his information across in a very clear, understandable way, and hopefully that's been the case today. And final bit of feedback comes from a chap called Mark Chivers. Mark's an ex-army guy like myself, a GB triathlete. He ran the Coach Me Slim and Trim program from his private studio, which was at the time in Blandford. And he said it's a no-brainer. Everything is done for you. He took on board the Coach Me Slim and Trim program. He has subsequently moved on to Australia and still works as a PT in Australia, doing his own thing. So the question now is, what next? Well, what next is pretty simple. You've got three options. If you think I can be of any value to you at all, there's three things I can offer you. One is a one-to-one breakthrough call where we get on the phone, either on the phone or face-to-face. There's a bit of flexibility there. And I will give you a real honest look at where you are now and give you a strategy to help you move from where you are to where you want to get to. And we can organise that. And there's a bit of pre-work before that call happens, whether it's on the phone or face-to-face. I offer a how to create and sell your signature weight loss program, and that's delivered in the form of a workshop. And we go through all the bits and pieces you need to go through in terms of how you create it, how you package it, how you market it, and how you sell the thing. So you do get those figures that I was quoting earlier on. And then for those people that may be interested in my Coach Me Slim and Trim license, we do open days for people that may want to come to that. So there's three options there. And I always think the best one to start off with, maybe, unless you know already that you'd like to, use my license, or for sure you want to do a program, maybe the one-to-one breakthrough call might be the starting point for you, so you can establish exactly where you are and where you may want to go. So the way you can get more information about all those three things is just to ping me an email to consult@cmstrim.co.uk. And I'd be more than happy to receive that email, and we can start the communication. So hopefully that's been of use to you, and you've got some value from that. I certainly hope you have. I'd like to say a big thank you to you for listening. Do send me any questions you may have. I'd be delighted to hear from you. Thank you once again. Take care, and bye for now.